the whole time. The whole damn time. The whole time. How are you going to have your mic muted this deep into this process, dude? I mean, shout out to everybody that just stuck around for watching me talk and not hearing anything. It's time to get it together. I look like the Texans offense in the second half against the Bills. Absolutely inexcusable. Defense covering up a lot of mistakes for the Bills. All right, if you haven't done so, please head on over to YouTube and watch the show. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. If you're on Facebook or X, I appreciate y'all, but YouTube's where the money's at. So I appreciate the support there. And then also like the video, comment, get involved, hit the super chat, be heard, win some free Socorro, which, by the way, additive free, 100% blue agave, Blanco, Anejo, Reposado, legit awesome tequila, especially for the holidays. Now that Christmas is coming around the corner, Thanksgiving is this week. A lot of times they have a couple cocktails. Grab yourself a Socorro, make yourself a margarita, pour it on the rocks, whatever. It's a delicious, delicious, legit tequila that y'all should be enjoying. All right, so first of all, the news today is that C.J. Stroud and Jalen Petrie, the safety, are still both in concussion protocol. They can't. This is not as bad news as many people think it is, because to get out of protocol, they have to practice twice. So today would presumably count, and then tomorrow's an off day on Tuesday, and then Wednesday they will practice again. That's when they will be out of NFL protocol. So both will likely be available on Sunday against the Colts, and they're going to need them. And they're especially going to need this on the offensive side of the ball. They miss C.J. Stroud. I understand Davis Mills has caught the hearts of Houston and Texans fans. I get it. He's played well enough to not lose, and that's his goal as a backup quarterback. His goal isn't to go out there and win games. His goal is to go out there and allow the defense to do what they do, move the ball just enough, get just enough points, and have some success. And maybe a little bit higher bar for Davis Mills because he has started in this league, but generally speaking, the role of a quarterback for the backup is to not F things all up, right? Like, that's the idea for a quarterback. And needless to say, Davis Mills has done that. They've gone 3-0. Davis Mills has done his job, and kudos to him. But there are some plays that are left out there. The second half against the Bills was a disaster. We're going to dive into that. But I just wanted to let you know the C.J. Stroud news and Jalen Petrie news off the jump. Okay, so first of all, I just want to go through this play against the Bills. I'm going to break this down a little bit as to why this is just, it's not all sunshine and roses. So I want you to look at the left side of your screen. See Nico Collins, got him highlighted there. And I went back and watched this game. This is when I caught it. So you see Jalen Knowles in the backfield. I can't highlight him, unfortunately. But Jalen Knowles in the backfield right now. Davis Mills thinks that there is going to be man coverage on the outside. See the defender on the right side of your screen. He thinks that he's going to bump and run on jam Dalton Schultz and stick with them and man, but he doesn't. He passes him off to the safety, and then he drops into the flat. But Davis Mills has this wrong, so just keep an eye on the right side. Dalton Schultz. See how that defender passed him off? See right here, Dalton Schultz gets jammed at the line. Good job by the defender, disrupt timing. And then here comes, I believe that's Jalen Knowles, at least, out of the backfield. And he thinks he's going to be open, so he kind of makes a pre-read on this play. And he ends up not completing it. I don't know who that is. I think that's Jalen Knowles. But either way. But the point of me showing this, because it was a bit of a pre-snap read. So watch Nico Collins. See Nico Collins? Watch him get inside leverage on the defender, and the safety doesn't come down on him. He's wide open. Right now, if he doesn't pre-read and make that throw, Nico Collins is wide open for the touchdown. And I know a lot of things like this don't get pointed out because you win the game and the defense was absolutely dominant. But these are the type of plays you'd like to have your quarterback. I know it's 6 yards into the end zone, so it's real tight territory, so you got to think even quicker than normal. But this right here, Nico Collins is wide open. And Nico really kind of should be your first read. I'm sure this play is for the guy in the backfield, but anyway, Nico Collins wide open, missed opportunity from Davis Mills. Just a play that I caught while watching this game back on Amazon Prime. Does a aerial view like that you can go back and watch, and I thought it was really beneficial to watch some games. some plays from that Bills game. And let's look at the second half, because the second half offense was really, really, really bad. And the defense covered it up because the defense was historically good. We know how good they were. They had 8 sacks, 12 QB hits. Those sacks, by the way, went for 70 yards of lost yards for the Bills offense before we get there. This is what the defense did. 11 tackles for loss, 3 takeaways, 2 interceptions, and a forced fumble by Kalen Bullock. Jalen Reed, a rookie, by the way, a game-high 11 tackles. The defense was absolutely fantastic. They were the best defense in the NFL until last night's game where the Rams dominated the Buccaneers. The Rams are now the best defense when it comes to points allowed, with 16.3 points allowed. The Texans are number 2 at 16.5 points allowed. So the Texans have a tall task this weekend, of course, against the Colts to keep that number where it is. Here's the offense. Here's the second half offense. 5 possessions, 4 punts, 3 points, 36 net yards. They crossed midfield 1 time. The offense, if it wasn't for the defense, would be catching hell right now, because this is what happened with Bobby Slowick last season. Part of the reason he got fired. Couldn't make adjustments in the second half. Didn't have any success in the second half, despite being in close games, the defense doing their job. But now the offense really, this is more than sputtered out against the Bills. This is a bit really bad. And overall in the game, they only had 261 yards. Davis Mills had about 150 yards. So 261 yards, that's 30th in the NFL in yards per game. So if they were gaining 260 yards per game, that'd be 30th best offense in the NFL. The average across the NFL is 330 yards per game. They had 260 yards in the entire game, and the net yards in the second half were 36. 36 net yards. That is really, really bad. So let's take a look at the drive chart. You guys know I like to look at this here on Kicking It with Kunkel. Appreciate you guys chiming in. Appreciate you guys. So here, see the first half, they had a couple good drives, 10 plays, 54 yards. And then a field goal, you get 4 first downs, then 12 plays, 57 yards, 77 net yards, 6 first downs, and then a touchdown. And right before half, 75 yard, 6 play drive for a touchdown. Now we come out of the locker room. 3 and out, a very short field recovering off of a fumble, that play that Kalen Bullock forced. They only gained 14 yards, net yards. Because I'm going with net yards because the penalties were instrumental in this game as well. So 14 net yards, that leads to a field goal. The only points of the second half. And then in the fourth quarter, 3 and out, gained 1 yard, 4 plays in their next drive, 24 yards and a punt. And you see they crossed midfield 1 time. They actually didn't even cross midfield now that I look at it. They gained the ball in midfield. It's an interesting note to make on my notes. It's where you make notes. They never crossed midfield. They got the ball in midfield. Iron Man Texan, I appreciate the kind words, my brother. You keep up the good work in your life, my man. They never crossed midfield. They gained the ball in midfield, gained only 14 yards, and kicked a field goal. So the second half was abysmal. And I bring that all up because DeMeco Ryans was asked about it today, and we're going to get to his answer in a little bit, and we'll work our way there. So let's get into the DeMeco Ryans press conference today.
No.
I don't know why he's all annoyed with the first question, by the way. What did he expect the first question to be? How was the bye week? Did you have fun with your family?
Will CJ start this week?
Hey, so for us right now, CJ and Jalen are still in the concurrence, power, the explode.
First question was about CJ.
Hey, DeMeco, will CJ start this week?
Hey, so for us right now, CJ and Jalen are still in the concussion protocol. So whenever CJ is back ready to roll, he's been our starter. He will be our starter whenever he's back ready to go.
Okay, first of all, not that there was a QB controversy, but if anybody out there thought that there was, CJ Stroud is the starter when he's returned. I don't know why he was so annoyed by that question. Surely he was told, hey, you might get asked about your starting quarterback status for this weekend's massive game against AFC South leader Colts.
Defense you guys have. What were some of the real philosophies and basic tenets that you wanted to instill in the defense as you put this together?
You know, for me, you talk about defensive football, it's just about everybody really playing together. That's the one thing I believe. True defense, when you're a good defense, everybody's playing together, everybody's communicating well, and then, of course, you have to be a fast, physical outfit who's flying around to the football, and that's what we have. Started with our guys up front. They're the key to what we do. They've done a really good job of when we do cover them well in the back end, just having those guys have more time to get after the passer. They've shown that they can be very effective at that.
Mika, as you guys get ready to go up and face the Colts, they've been much better, like running the ball and what they do offensively at home. What have you talk about just some of the big challenges that you guys have getting ready to go face that team at home?
And for the Colts, you can see they've been a very explosive offense. Like that's what's powered them this year. I think Daniel Jones is playing the most productive that he's played in his career. So Shane has done a good job of putting him in positions, putting guys around him to really make the plays he needs to make. So you have explosive receivers on the outside.
Jones has been good,
The rookie tight end is doing a good job as well. And then, of course, running the football, Jonathan Taylor. And can't say enough good things about him as a running back. Just his balance, his power, the explosiveness. Like you have to be able to set the edge because he can take the explosive run 50-plus yards and take it to the house. He can hit cutback lanes,
Taylor,
right,
bro.
and make you pay. So it's going to take everything we have, defensively, first and foremost, stopping the run. But we know that's not the only emphasis with this offense. They do a good job of their play-action pass game, like really timing it up at the proper time, really catching a lot of defenses off guard, and they're creating a lot of explosives there as well. So you got to play true. So I'm telling our defense, you have to play true. You have to play with elite eye discipline, elite awareness to what your job is and being on it. Because if not, Shane has always done a good job, offensively of creating, eye candy, as I call it, to mess with guys' eyes, to put their guys in position to make plays.
You just mentioned eye discipline and then discipline in general. Do you feel like your defenses continue to play with more and more of it?
Yeah, we are doing a better job of being more disciplined than where we started the season. We can still be even better.
I love that answer from D'Amico because it's like, yeah, we've been good. We've been better than where we were because we had very little discipline to start the season, especially in the penalty world, and they've gotten better. But they can still get better. Like you still want to keep raising that bar. I know sometimes you want to. It sounds like we're harping on there's not perfection, or me in particular at points, but the goal is to always get better. It's like when I talked to Kamari Lassiter last week, he said that they were going into the film room right after that, what was the game? The Titans game. They said they're not going to look at anything they did well. They're going to look at everything they did poorly and how they can get better going into that Bills game. So it's always about getting better all the time, no matter how good your defense is. And on offense, there's obviously a lot more to watch on the offensive side of the ball.
D'Amico, with Jalen and CJ still being in concussion protocol, are they expected to practice Wednesday? Does that mean like it's like close to the final step?
Yeah, we'll see what happens on Wednesday when Wednesday gets
D'Amico
here.
can't say anything there.
Well, what went well with the rushing attack early on in the game against Buffalo? What are some of those things that you can maybe carry into future games with that offensive line that you had out there?
Yeah, for our offensive line, the rushing game, we have to just stay connected on our blocks. I think when we have double teams and we're coming off at the second level, if we stay connected and we finish our blocks with the right mindset, and we have good running lanes. Right? I thought Woody ran the ball well, especially like on our fourth down play.
Man, there's a couple plays here. I've mentioned this in one of the shows I was on. I don't know if it was on ESPN Radio, Houston, 97.5, 92.5, but the way that Woody Marks ran downhill behind his pads and created that contact or took contact but then fell forward, like that was the best part I saw of Woody Marks against the Bills.
When he's one-on-one right in the hole with the defender, like for him to play behind his pads, really keep his feet moving, like that's how you have to run the football. So we continue to block it well, we continue to make good decisions with our running backs, running the ball well, and we can run the ball effectively.
Jalen Reed,
Especially on this offense because they need every inch. Like they were 2 of 12, 17% against the Bills on third down.
Yeah, Jalen stepped in and he played swarm football, right? He was see ball, get ball. He's flying around, making.
This is about Jalen Reed, the rookie cornerback. This dude had 11 tackles, game high 11 tackles as a rookie in his first start. Like that, it's pretty badass.
Players, of course, some things to clean up, but I'm encouraged with what he did. Being that it was a short week, he didn't get a ton of preparation didn't get any live reps. So for him to go in, right, and do as good of a job as he did in that game, I'm excited for him to just continue to progress and continue growing. Coach Stevens done a really nice job of working with Jalen while he's been out. So the more he gets, I expect him to be even better for us.
The biggest thing for Jalen Reed is to stay within himself, play within that system. Don't go feeling real good about yourself and that you can go make plays and leave your assignment, leave your area. Jalen, like everybody in this defense, has to play their man, play their zone, do their job, not trying to do more. That's what's got C.D. Gardner-Johnson in so much trouble, is that he never did his damn job. He never played his area. He left everyone else to dry trying to make a play. Jalen Reed, don't go try to make plays. And I'm not saying that's who he is and that's what he's going to do. I'm just saying that when you start playing well and you start getting comfortable, you start taking more risks. You start feeling like you can do an extra thing here or there, which in reality means if you're here, you're not there, especially if there is where your assignment is. So that's just what Jalen Reed's got to kind of guard against a little bit.
What do you see Tyler Warren, what he's added to their offense?
Yeah, Tyler Warren, he's a playmaker, man. That's wherever you get this kid the ball, like he's explosive, a little faster than you think, tough.
Oh, faster than, wait, what's that, D'Amico? How'd you describe the white tight end?
Like he's explosive, a little faster than you think, tough.
Faster than you think, sneaky fast, sneaky athletic, lunch pail guy, first guy in, last guy out. It's been a while since we've gotten a good old white football player cliche. Faster than you think.
He's a playmaker, man. That's where.
Has the white guy ever been fast to anybody? Like, are you ever fast? Are you ever just talented and athletic? Are you a freak athlete at any point?
Wherever you get this kid the ball, like he's explosive, a little faster than you think, tougher than you think. Like he showed that at Penn State. Like he was a one-man wrecking crew. Like he did a really nice job at Penn State, and it's carried over here to the league. He's still doing a nice job, and you can see they're trying to put him in spots to get him the football because he is that type of guy. He's a playmaker, a guy seems like you can trust, you can count on him. Like he continues to show up play after play, down after down for those guys.
Has that iteration of the offensive line done enough to earn them another chance next week? And separate from that,
I think so.
What does it say about Titus that he's been able to adapt and play every position and still not miss a beat?
Yeah, we'll continue to roll with our offensive line. For me, it's always been about trying to get our best five guys out there. I think Titus has done a great job of just unselfish.
The offensive line had their best game of the season by far. 16% pressure rate, I believe it was, and 5 pressures allowed. The best.
Selfishly moving, where he's played right tackle, right guard, left guard, whatever we've asked him. He's done it. It shows that he's a smart player to be able to handle as much as we put on his plate. So he's done that, and he's played good for us.
Going back to Thursday's game, some of the offensive.
Oh, whoops, can't change. Damn, I tried to add a graphic. I'll show it after this.
Defense was playing so good on Thursday.
So this is D'Amico Ryan's getting asked. I'm not sure exactly what the question was, to be honest, but it was something to do with the effect of the lack of production in the second half by the offense. So that's what he's about to answer here. And like he's very, very, very aware of the fact that the Texans' offense in the second half was subpar, and that's putting it kindly.
No, it doesn't necessarily correlate. Like we still got to do a better job moving the ball in the second half. I don't think our second half offense was good enough. And, so we have to continue to strive, continue to get better at executing the plays, calling it better. We got to do a much better job. Coaches, players, everybody, we got to be able to move the ball way more than we did in the second half. We're going to finish games the right way.
Like you're not getting 8 sacks the way that you are. You're not going to get 3 turnovers the way that you did. You're not going to get the QB hits, the tackles for loss. You're not going to dominate games the way that they did against the Bills week in and week out. You're going to have those peaks, and you're going to be a steady, really, really good defense. But, I mean, let's be honest. This game came down to about 15 yards or whatever it was. This game was really, really close, albeit a dominant production by the defense. And that's because the special teams didn't do their job. They allowed another touchdown. I believe that's the second touchdown. They've allowed a punt return and a kick return this season. They've had some good splash plays, to be fair, But they got to cut those out, and the offense has to be better throughout the entire game.
And after the guys coming back off in a minute break, how would you assess them, the legs and everything when they're moving around on the field?
Yeah, everybody came back healthy, ready to go. So guys are bouncing around. Guys understand, where we are. It's just for us, man. It's always for me being dialed into your preparation, like being dialed into the execution and being on the things you have to be on, like to make plays. That's what it's going to take. Like as we continue to go out, how we finish this season is just going to be. It's really the mental part has to heighten. It has to be heightened for us to be where we want to be.
I think that's such a key point. And with every team that's competing down the stretch, it's like you got to be locked into your assignment every single play, because the Texans are already playing with razor thin margins. That if you're off one play and you give up one big play, you could be in trouble because the offense isn't scoring enough to hide that stuff. And you're not going to get the defensive performance that you did against the Bills to hide all the stuff that defensive performance did. Like we talked about the greatness of that defense all day the following day, all over the weekend, which means we didn't talk about the special teams giving up another touchdown. We didn't talk about the fact that the offense had 61 total yards in the second half, 36 net yards. Like that didn't get mentioned a lot because the defense was so damn good for the whole world to see against the former MVP. All that can be true, right? Like your defense can be awesome while your offense has some major things to figure out.
Into the draft preparation when you first got here, you already knew that you needed a quarterback and took C.J. Stroud. But what was it about on film that made you all make that decision to go and get Will in the way that he's been performing over these last 3 years here?
Yeah, for us, when we started out, when my first year here started out the.
Oh, he was asked like, why did he scout or what did he see on film from Will Anderson when he was at Alabama?
Draft process, there was, you knew we got CJ, which he was a really talented quarterback, did a lot of great things at Ohio State, but then you flip it over on the defensive side, knowing that we needed, a foundational piece on that defensive side. And you look at Will Anderson and just his track record in college, everybody you talk to at Alabama, everything they had to say about Will, the type of leader he was. You didn't even have to talk about the player. You can see how relentless he was on tape, how he finished. But just to hear the leader that he was, how he held other guys accountable, how, he was the guy. Everybody talked about Alabama, he was the guy. And I remember I wasn't even thinking about Will at this time, but I remember when Will was a rookie at Alabama, my older brother, he called me and was like, hey, man, whenever you get a chance, this guy from Alabama, you need to get him on your team. It's like, all right, I'll check him out. And then who knows, like full circle, moment like come when I had a chance to actually be in a position to draft him, like, yeah, my brother was right. He was spot on. I needed to get number 31, and I'm happy he's here with us.
Real quick, Coach, Thanksgiving question. Cranberry or cranberry? Yes or no?
He was asked if he likes cranberry sauce. The answer is no. Cranberry sauce is disgusting. It is absolutely filthy, especially out of a can. There's some versions I might eat during Thanksgiving, but like other than that, it's like candy corn of Thanksgiving. Like it's dog food.
Cranberry depends on how good the dressing is. I
don't understand what that has to do.
Yeah, it can't come out of the can.
No, but the traditional food.
Yeah.
That's a must-have.
The traditional. I'm always traditional. For me, it's having the mac and cheese, the sweet potato pie. But as I told our guys too, I told them, hey, we can save that food for another day this week. I mean, we're focused on the Colts. But happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Hope you guys enjoy that time with your family. We will be working. All right, thank you guys.
It seems like you really do not want to wish the media happy Thanksgiving there. Oh, man. All right, so let's take a look at the standings. Here they are. Of course, the 4 division winners and 3 wild cards get in. That means that it's 7 teams in. The Texans are not in at this point. They win the tiebreaker over the Chiefs as it sits right now. But that's obviously going to be a moot point in 2 weeks because they play on Sunday Night Football. The winner of that game will hold the tiebreaker, and maybe if that even comes into effect. So obviously some teams to jump with the Steelers. But the obvious thing right now is what you're looking at is the standings in the AFC South. They're just 2 games behind the Colts. 6-5. Colts are 8-3. How about the Jaguars? 7-4, just 1 game behind the Colts. Nice win for the Jaguars over the Cardinals. They're getting some ugly ass wins. I will tell you that much. But when you start stacking wins this late in the year, you don't apologize for the wins. You can nitpick things within the wins and or losses just to make your team that much better. That's what we're doing here on Kicking It with Kunkel right now. Someone says, I hope CJ can handle expectations. Yeah, man. He played at Ohio State. He's been a high, big-time quarterback his entire career. The expectations aren't going to be an issue for him. The biggest thing I want to see are Nick Caley, CJ Stroud on the same page of how to make this offense go. And then once you do that, implement that and have the offensive line execute their blocks, protect CJ Stroud, move bodies to be able to run. That's all I want to see right now. There's a couple plays that I saw. If you guys are just joining, I'll go through this one more time. A play from Thursday Night Football against the Bills that Davis Mills made a pre-snap read that he really should not have made. All right, so if you look at the right side of your screen, you see Dalton Schultz. I believe that's Jalen Noel in the backfield. You see Nico Collins highlighted right now. Ignore him at the moment. Just look at the right side of your screen. So what's going to happen is Dalton Schultz on the outside is going to get jammed, and it looks like it's going to be man coverage. That's what I think Davis Mills thinks. That way, the guy that's in the backfield, who I believe is Jalen Noel, is going to get a free release and be wide open in the flat. However, he's not going to end up being wide open because the defender plays off of Dalton Schultz, drops into the flat, and he's there in coverage. It's a bad throw anyway, but you'll see my pre-snap read point. If that's the case, I always kind of want to say a caveat that maybe that's not what he thought because I don't know what he thought. We haven't had a chance to catch him yet. So anyway, you see the release. Jalen Noel, I think it's Jalen Noel. I can't tell what number it is. Anyway, the player coming out of the backfield, he thinks it's going to be wide open in the flat, so he throws it right away. But you see the defender coming off of Dalton Schultz. He's no longer in what Davis Mills believes, I think, to be man coverage. They're in a zone. He falls in the flat. It's a bad throw anyway. He doesn't have the leverage on the defender to get in the end zone, even if this is a better throw. Like, I don't think he scores if it's a good point. Like, I don't think that that's a touchdown. I think he's going to be tackled after about a yard, 2 yards maybe. So anyway, I show you that because look at Nico Collins. You see him highlighted right now on the left side of your screen, the middle of that bunch formation. And you see the defenders are at the goal line. The defender for the Bills gets beat on the inside, and Nico Collins right now, if you throw the ball, is wide open for a touchdown. When you see there's not a defender within 3 yards of him. Take a look one more time. So the defender gets beat on the inside. The safety is now backing up into the end zone. So if you throw the ball right now to Nico Collins, I wish I could highlight him and circle him, but hopefully you guys know where you're looking right now. In the middle of the field, like he's wide open. A ball that hits him in the chest right there, takes him into the end zone, no play, like a touchdown. So anyway, those are just kind of some of the plays that don't get seen a lot. You don't get the instant breakdown, and I saw that a couple days later when I went back and watched it on Amazon Prime's, all 11 view, which is so beneficial. That's not what gets highlighted because I think a lot of people get enamored and in love with Davis Mills because he's a backup. He can do no wrong. He went 3-0. He played his ass off. They won games because of him, because of the plays that he made. But there were a lot of plays that were left out there, and games were a little bit closer than they should have been. If you had CJ Stroud, you don't. And that's the difference, and that's not a knock on Davis Mills. I want to be very fair. Davis Mills played really, really well. They went 3-0. He did his job. But there's a difference between him and CJ Stroud. Like CJ Stroud has the potential to earn $50 to $60 million when his contract is up. CJ Stroud was the reason, in part, they went to the playoffs his rookie season. CJ Stroud can carry a team when he's in concert with his offensive coordinator. So that's the only reason I bring that up. Emac says CJ have hit Nico so many times. And that's just an easy route. It's an easy, quick slant on the inside that when you get that leverage, especially with the safety backing up all the way into the end zone, that quick release. I mean, there's no hands on him on that release. It's a quick release by Nico as well. Shout out to Nico and the quick footwork. Watch his footwork get off of the line of scrimmage without any sort of contact. Like, you want to make sure there's some contact there. And dare I say it, now I'm looking at, like, look at the left side too. I can't tell from this angle, obviously, who is who. I can't tell who that is. Who is that? Oh, it just flashed. It is. So that's Higgins. Yeah, 81 Higgins. On the outside, left of your screen. He's open too. Because the guy on the left goes out in the flat as well. And then the safety now is crashing on Nico because he's, that he sees, well, the ball's already out at this point. I mean, let's see where the ball is. Let's see what the freeze frame looks like when the ball is still in Davis's hands. Yeah, I mean, Nico's just a wide open, easy pitch and catch. It don't matter. We don't need to belabor that point. O-line now has better pass blocking on the left side and better run game push on the right side. Recipe for success. Ideally, the offensive line has to keep it up. The offensive line has to be better. And I think a lot of things can be true. Like, Davis Mills played well. He left some things out there. They won games. And the offensive line played a lot better with Davis Mills back there than CJ Stroud. But not because it's Davis Mills and not CJ Stroud, but because finally the Texans may have found their best 5 offensive linemen. Not City So, not Laken Tomlinson, not Drew Scruggs at left guard. I mean, Laken Tomlinson was a healthy scratch in this game. He was your starting left guard for weeks, and then rotated with Drew Scruggs for weeks. And then they went City So at right guard when Ed Ingram went down. And then Titus Howard was out, so they went to Trent Brown, and Trent Brown showed that he was very good, but he hadn't played in the first, 8-9 weeks? 8 weeks? I mean, like, the coaching staff and the front office and the scouting department do a fantastic job on the defensive side of the ball and certain spots on the offensive side of the ball. Wide receiver in particular, Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel have proven to be some pretty good players in their rookie season. Tank Adele was that guy. CJ Stroud, good pick. Woody Marks, good pick. Jalen Reed, the safety, good pick. Evaluating and figuring out who to draft and who to play on the offensive line, though, has been a crapshoot at best. And it's been tough. So it looks like they may have their best 5 at this point. Okay, I'm going to wrap this thing up. That's going to do it for me. I appreciate everybody that chimed in on here. And if you haven't already, please do me a favor. Like the video, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, comment. Find me on all the, there's, look at the bottom. It's all my TikTok, my Instagram, my YouTube, my X. Find me on social media. Let me know if you have any questions and we can go back and forth or whatever. I think the biggest takeaway from this is look at what this just hasn't been talked about a bunch. I'm not saying no one's talked about it. I just mean it hasn't been talked about a bunch. The second half offense, 5 possessions, 4 punts, 3 points, 36 net yards. 36 net yards. They didn't cross midfield one time as an offense. They recovered a fumble in Bills territory and then proceeded to gain just 14 yards and get a field goal. So the offense has to be a whole lot better against the Colts. It's a blessing that DeForest Buckner is not in for the Colts. I mean, I don't mean like it's a blessing that he's hurt. It's that the Texans don't have to face him. Thankfully, for his sake and for the Colts' sake, it sounds like he's going to come back at some point this season, maybe. Shane Steichen sound like that was a possibility last I heard that he talked about it. So the Texans, as I've been saying, are a team that can beat very good teams in the NFL if the matchups are right. If their strengths aren't your weaknesses, such as they don't have a great front 4, like the Titans, Jaguars, and Broncos all have a very good front 4. Those are really bad matchups for the Texans. Hence, the Jaguars game was tough. The Titans game were tough. They're not a good team. Like, Jaguars and Titans stink. They're not very good. Jaguars are better. Jaguars have a better record, but they're not a good team. Okay. Titans stink. Both those games have been abnormally close. The Broncos game was extremely close because the matchups don't work very well. The Rams, a really bad matchup for the Texans because the Rams are very good up front and they have a pretty damn good offense that they can score a time or two, even though the first week was a 1-game possession. Just a tough matchup for that offensive line back then. The Bills, not very good up front. The offensive line for the Texans can take advantage and they can score some points, and they did early on, especially with the help with a great defense. All right. Offense has to be better. That's going to do it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate everybody that chimed in. Thank you all. Have a good night.